so bí mo ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni o, and to the glory of God that column ó di gbajúgbajà tó jẹ́ pé mo rántí editor mi ń gbà yẹn Mr. Ṣẹ́gun Ọlátúnjí ní Festus mo lọ sí event everybody kàn béèrè ní Festus Adedayo kọ́ Festus Adedayo. Of course, you know, in journalism, need the godfather. Nǹkan tó bá kọ ni a pòkìkí ẹ̀. Gradually, mo rántí ní year 2000 or so, if I'm not mistaken, Lenugu, there was a crisis. There was a adoration tragedy, what they call the adoration tragedy. Tí àwọn èèyàn kú ní Father Mbaka's prayer center, stampede. So, of course, àwọn opposition lẹ́nugun sọ pé Nnamani ni olórí ó rán àwọn goons ẹ̀ wá síbẹ̀ pé àwọn náà scare náà yìnbọn sókè táwọn èèyàn dí stampede. I think many people died. So I remember in my column I wrote against Nnamani. And kò pẹ́ sígbà yẹn, you know, àwọn governors máa ń ṣe facility tour. So mo kàn discover pé wọ́n ní kí n wá sẹ́nugun facility tour. I remember we came on Friday. On Saturday morning, the governor was going to take us around the projects, don't she? So I was in the ESCO chamber. Our journalists, editors, I want to come and introduce around. My name is Festus Adedayo. Governor continued, Adedayo, I read your column every week. I'm your fan. They big way, mo gbé boss ti gbogbo our editors were annoying. ADC governor gbà, his name is Ifeanyi Uche, only commissioner of police in charge of cyber security now. That was his ADC. So what tap glass? Who is Adedayo among you? I'm the one. The governor said he wants to ride with you. So Morati coupe car come by. The governor was driving. No one leg back. So we began talking. What do you do? Money I started my PhD. Oh, that's interesting. What's your area of research? I told him. So I shall sorry be lati. Mo pe be lo ti identify. Okay. So ko wa pe sigba yẹn Governor Olusegun Agagu became governor, you know, in my state. Àwọn bàbá wọ́n shall recommend me fún to be his chief press secretary.
Governor Agagu.
Governor Agagu. So I met him. He was going to make me chief press secretary. But ìjọ́ tí wọ́n di governor tán sú àwọn yẹn, wọ́n bá dárúkọ mi as press secretary. There was a chief press secretary. Àwa bíi mẹ́ta mẹ́rin press secretaries mẹ́ta mẹ́rin, and I said it was beneath me. So wọ́n announce orúkọ mi on radio and in the newspapers. So announcement yẹn ni Governor Nnamani rí ló kà nínú paper. So wá ní kí SCN gbà yẹn Igboneku Ogazimora kó pè mí pé he was offering me an appointment. I should not take that one. Okay. But that was too small for me. So mo rántí ìjọ́ tí mo wá lọ meet Governor Nnamani lẹ́nu bí a ṣe jókòó náà ni. Adedayo, I'm offering you the position of special assistant. I'm going to give you a car. I'll give you a house. I'll give. Your Excellency, let me pray about it. So, okay, fine, go and pray about it. So, Modele, could you bear the second day not the announcer? But then I was not in a dilemma. Okay. As at that time, I had become deputy editor in the Tribune with the prospect that I could be an editor. And mo wá lọ sílé àjòjì ilẹ̀ tí mi ò mọ̀.
Editor or position to high in any printer.
That's the desire of every reporter. I mean, àwa náà ti ṣọmọ ṣẹ́ káwa náà dọ̀gá. So as at that time, mo ti ń wo pé probability pé mi náà di editor. Wọ́n á ní kí n lọ sí ilẹ̀ Igbo níbi tí mi ò dé rí. In fact, it was interesting ni pé ìjọ́ tí Ogazimora pè mí pé kí n wá pé nǹkan tí governor sọ ìyá mi kọ́lọ̀ fọ̀rùn kẹ́wọ̀n. Wọ́n wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ mi bá ní gbọ́ nǹkan tí mo gbọ́. Wọ́n ní kí ni? Wọ́n ní kí n wá ṣe ẹsẹ̀ nílẹ̀ ọmọ Igbo. Ó ní orí àwọn kọ̀. Ibi tí wọ́n ti ń jẹ èèyàn yẹn. So ìyá tó ní ibi tí wọ́n ti ń jẹ yẹn ó wá kí wa lẹ́nugu bí ẹ̀ẹ̀mejì pé ibi dẹ̀ dá o.
àìdébẹ̀ ni ò jẹ́ kí wọ́n
àìdébẹ̀
pè
ni ò jẹ́ kí ìyá mọ̀ pé and it became till today mo rántí ìgbà tí mo lọ sẹ́nugu mo máa ń sọ fáwọn ẹ̀ tí máa rá àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n ń betray ọ̀gá nílẹ̀ Yorùbá táwa ti wá ẹyẹlé ò ní bónílé jẹ kó bónílé mu kó dọjọ́ ìkúnlẹ̀ kẹyẹlé wá sọ pé báwo ni tọ̀gá ò ṣe jẹ́ báwo àìṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ó ti wá di tọrọ fọ́nkálé nílẹ̀ Yorùbá náà báyìí so gbogbo gbà yẹn I was with him gbogbo nǹkan tó ń go through I was with him àtúnwẹ̀yìn by Festus Yorùbá people stand.
àwọn tẹjọ ṣiṣẹ́ most of them.
gbogbo àwọn èèyàn ti abandon ẹ̀ in fact àwọn èèyàn máa ń sọ fún gbà nǹkan tó máa ń sọ fún ni pé tó bá ti rí pé ilé ó tún ti lọ sórí sẹ́yìn Sullivan because Sullivan was our attorney general.
Okay.
And I remember tí Governor Nnamani bá rí mi lé ní àní Adedayo you misled me into choosing Sullivan kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ ìjọ kan mo wà nílé lẹ́nugun ADC kan pè mí ní Adedayo ọ̀gá said you should meet him at Orange jẹ́ code name fún ibi tí governor ti máa gym because ó máa ń lọ gym gan láàárọ̀ so mo ti débẹ̀ 7 a.m. bí mo ṣe dé gym the governor ó ti ń step out ó wọ tracksuit so ó pe commissioner for information wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ left èmi wà right Adedayo who do you think should succeed me and that was about late 2005 or early 2006 bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe analysis Ekweremadu used to be our SSG lẹ́nugu before he was chief of staff SSG before he became senator òun náà fẹ́ succeed Nnamani late Ayo Ogweze was my colleague we were both special advisors before he became senator òun náà fẹ́ succeed Nnamani and he was from Nsukka. But Sullivan Chime was Nnamani's classmate in secondary school, was even his lawyer, and he was a technocrat, and I felt he was the best. So after doing the analysis, I began to say, this one, Nsukka people don't like us. Your Excellency, if we pick this, there'll be this. But Sullivan Chime, and he agreed with me. And that was the commencement of the process of making Sullivan governor. But àmọ́ pé ọ̀tá wa tó fojú jọ rẹ ni Sullivan because her art governor tí wọ́n ti sún ẹ̀yìn gan tó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí dismantle all the
structures.
So by the time Nnamani wá padà tó di senator ẹ̀mọ àwọn èèyàn ti lọ tán èmi nìkan mo even l'Abuja I was the only one with him àwọn èèyàn ti lọ so nǹkan tó máa ń sọ fún gbà yẹn ni pé ẹni tí ó bá mú ìmọ̀ ọ̀pẹ dání ni léwúrẹ́ máa ń wọ́tọ̀ pé so tó bá mú palm frond dání ewúrẹ́ ò ní.
tí wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ máa rí nǹkan jẹ.
wọ́n lè bá láti máa rí nǹkan jẹ pé so ó ti kúrò ní gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì nísìn bó tó bá ti wẹ̀yìn bá ní Adedayo.
so bí wọ́n ṣe fi lọ yín yẹn who do you think should succeed me bí bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni wọ́n ṣe máa ń discuss.
No, that is it now.
Kò sí kinní kan bàbàrà.
No, kò sí bàbàrà. Of course, yeah, but interest wọn ni. As at that time, they become very vulnerable. Power in law. Ta ni ẹni tí ó lè carry on. Some of them will think of ẹni tó lè carry on legacy àwọn. Some of them wo ẹni tó lè protect àwọn.
Torí mess ti wà nílẹ̀.
Because mess wà. Kò sí bí mess ò ṣe ní sí. Ta ló lè protect wọn? Ta ló lè clean mess wọn? Ta ló lè wà bẹ́ẹ̀ fún ọ níjọ́ tọ́jọ́ bá
tó
pòfiri so analysis yẹn ni mo ṣe fún.
so Sullivan deal pẹ̀lú.
ó deal pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ gan kì í ṣe kékeré in fact ó retired from politics until gbùrùgbùrù kí lorúkọ ẹ̀ nísìn his successor now brought Nnamani back into politics. Sullivan dealt with him.
So that explains what happens in Rivers State.
Yeah.
From Rotimi Amechi.
Exactly. And that's why I always exactly. When the man converse me, it doesn't make sense for a governor to nominate his successor. You should allow the system, because it has shown from experience since 1999 that successors will always be the nemesis of their predecessors. It's everywhere. The only place tí ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Èkó, and nǹkan tó hold Èkó, ó go beyond nǹkan tó jú lè rí. Ó go beyond nǹkan tó jú lè rí.
Ṣó ju influence Tinubu lọ ni?
Èmi rò pé ó kọjá influence Tinubu. Èmi rò pé kọjá wípé a lu ọgbọ́n orí. Èmi rò pé metaphysics wà ńbẹ̀. Èrò tèmi nìyẹn o. Èmi rò pé tá bá dẹ̀ sọ pé metaphysics ti bílẹ̀ wà ńbẹ̀. Ẹ mọ̀ pé wọ́n máa ń swear to oath.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Blood oath.
But irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ náà máa pọ̀ mẹ́ẹ̀ náà.
But from my knowledge of Nnamani, kò mọ nǹkan kan nípa ẹ̀. Kò mọ̀. Trust me. Kò mọ anything nípa ọ̀rọ̀ metaphysics. He was too medical doctor. Kò tí ẹ believe in such things. Kò believe rárá. Kò believe.
Báwo lẹ ṣe wá ṣe immediately after Enugu lẹ wá sọ̀yọ̀?
No, immediately after Enugu, mo wá, Nnamani became a senator in Abuja. So I stayed with him for a while. Kí n tó wá lọ sí a newspaper called National Life, as it Tinubu ló ní paper.
Okay.
As chairman editorial board of National Life.
Ṣé àwọn náà appoint him directly, àbí?
Ṣé tani?
President Tinubu?
No. There's my MD then, ọ̀rẹ́ mi, Louis Odion, used to be editor Sunday Sun. So ìjọ kan wá interview Nnamani l'Abuja náà. So bó ṣe wá interview Chancellor Festus. No, you are a brilliant guy. People respect you in the media. Where you belong is in the media. And the federal paper kan sílẹ̀. So we want you to come and be the chairman editorial board. So that was how I became the chairman editorial board. Ọ̀kan lára àwọn ilé Tinubu lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ là ń lò.
So National Life in run independently.
Independent, soft cell ni.
Bí nation náà ṣe ń.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, wọ́n collapse àwọn méjèèjì.
Okay.
So National Life was being run just like Sun.
Okay.
Sun, maybe the Sun.
Ta ló ní Sun?
Oji Uzo Kalu ló ní Sun. They just wanted a soft cell. To jẹ́ pé, yes, so a máa ní political, a ní hard part of it, but mostly àwọn soft, àwọn bí irú sleaze in high places.
Okay, soft gossips.
But elevated.
So, yeah.
Elevated. Of course, I had an editorial board, of which I was its chairman.
Okay,
and by the time I left, that was when the paper was also collapsing.
Chair meets Ashwaju all through?
No, I never met him.
Okay.
And he never had a hand in what we were writing. Okay. Give it to him. We were writing our views. Of course, self-censorship. Now. But I never met him throughout my stay there.
So after National Life,
no, I met him before.
No, I mean,
where I went.
Yes.
Okay. So National Life ni mo wà tí wọ́n ti appoint me Ọ̀yọ́ State as the SA media to be governor.
Was there anything remarkable to share like onto the queue one final point?
Okay. What happened was mọ́tò tí mo máa ń lò wọ́n fún mi lọ́fíṣà car when boss National Life sáré. Okay. So èmi ò dẹ̀ kí mi ò like Èkó. So mo máa ń shuttle ní every day. So mo ń gbé Ẹlẹ́bú. So àwọn èèyàn máa ń mọ̀ wọ́n bá ti rí National Life. So ìjọ́ kan there was a guy, we became friends. So who can stop me? Pé kí n jọ pé o máa ń ka column mi pé there's a politician tó ń wá àwọn strategy team pé and then àwọn kan dẹ̀ dárúkọ mi ní mo ní mi ò fẹ́ bá olóṣèlú kankan ṣiṣẹ́. Ó ṣáà he's also a landlord in Ẹlẹ́bú. Ó ṣáà convince me. Ó wá ní ọ̀rẹ́ nǹkan incidentally Láìdé Adédèjì just died recently, ọ̀rẹ́ wa nice guy. Láìdé Adédèjì yẹn gan ló rán ẹni yẹn sí mi.
Okay.
So I now met Ajimobi in his house. I remember it was a Sunday. So àwa jókòó, èmi àti wọn la jókòó síbi garage wọn gbà yẹn la ń ṣe analysis. Àwọn analysis tí wọ́n á ṣe fún wọn, he was so excited. Wow, this is brilliant. So bá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́, àwọn strategy team wọlé, Uncle Yanjú Adégbìtẹ́, Professor Ojo, Emmanuel Ojo, Abbas Alẹ́ṣinlọ́yẹ́, Túndé Múráínà, wọ́n ṣà ń wọlé. So Ajimobi wọn ni ẹ̀hẹ̀ náà lò fún mi gbà. I enjoy yín. Manisa, ṣe mo ṣe meet ní bóyá next fortnight. So gradually, mo ṣáà join wọn. So ibẹ̀ ni Ajimobi ti like me. And mo rántí pé, so mo yẹn ṣiṣẹ́ mi national life, but I máa meet every fortnight on Sundays. Bàbá dẹ̀ délé ọ̀gá ń gbà yẹn. Even when I name mommy.
Wọ́n ní fi lọ yẹn àbí?
But ṣe mọ̀, àwa náà ò ní béèrè.
Okay.
A ṣiṣẹ́ ni, we were so sucked into what we were doing. A ṣe dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé a yield, but we gradually ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí dòun. Mo rántí ìjọ kan ó ti ìgbà yẹn ẹ̀mọ̀ Ajimobi ti di, wọ́n ti lọ sí AD ńgbà yẹn. Sorry, not AD, ACN. ACN. He was in ANPP before ACN. Akala Tinwa feel threatened. It was becoming obvious that Ajimobi was going to pose a strong opposition to Akala's bid to become for a second term. So adijọ́ kan Ajimobi wá pè mí pé èmi ni kí n ṣe director of kí ni wọ́n máa ń pè, ṣe director of campaign media. Yes. Director of media ní campaign. Ní ọ̀gá mi ò lè ṣe, mo ń ṣiṣẹ́. I still work for National Life. Wọ́n ní kidi, so what do we do? Èmi mama work underground, but I need the face. So no I agree. And he agreed. So gradually he won. And Ajimobi, I've written about this. Baba Lamo, they like me.
Okay.
Because when he was governor, I was a major thorn in his flesh. So, mo rántí ìjọ kan tó wá sí Tribune. I saw Dubai lọ. So, because I was always writing against him. And so, Ajimobi, the governor, a máa ń lo presidential lodge. It wasn't immediately, he was sworn in. Ibẹ̀ láti ń run. Ìgbà yẹn wọ́n renovate governor's office. Èmi now Professor Adedayo Akande, Uncle Yanjú, gbogbo ayẹ. So wá dijọ́ ẹ̀, Ajimobi kan pè mí, ó pe àwa mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta sókè ní presidential lodge. Wọ́n gbé diary dání, wọ́n dẹ̀ open diary. Yes, ẹ mọ̀ pé mo láti make first appointment mi. Mo wà lọ́dọ̀ Baba Lam lánàá. Bàbá àwọn náà sọmọ mi pé ta ló fẹ́ fi ṣe SA media. Àwọn bá ní Festus Adedayo, wọ́n ní ọmọ ìmọ̀ bú mi pọ̀ over my dead body lọ́mọ ó ṣe SA media. Ajimobi ní bàbá mo ti ní kó resign, ẹ gbàgbé ẹ̀.
Ẹni tó máa ṣe
ẹ̀. Ẹni tá ṣe ẹ̀sìn stubborn, mo pọ̀ stubborn. Ajimobi reported to us. Of course, he brought out his diary. He said, Festus, these are your minuses. Oyesomo, your state. Wọ́n ṣá list àwọn minuses ẹbí mẹ́ta. Positives, o ní PhD, o ti ṣiṣẹ́ ìrí lẹ́nugu, o mọ̀yàn, kíní kan, I'm picking you. Ó dórí now Professor Adedayo Akande, ó sọ negative tiẹ̀ náà. Wọ́n ní èèyàn Àtíkù ni ẹ́, wọ́n ní PDP ni ẹ́, wọ́n ní kíní kan, ṣùgbọ́n you have a PhD, you are brilliant, you are the kíní kan, you are going to be my chief of staff. Wọ́n tí wọ́n láwọn fẹ́ pick the SSG ńgbà yẹn, wọ́n ní dilemma between ẹni tí wọ́n choose at the end of the day àti I think one woman and another person. The woman was maybe maybe head of service, former head of service. So so the same thing náà bàbá ò fẹ́ kí wọ́n pick Déolú Àkàndé náà.
Okay.
So but wọ́n ní bàbá mo ti choose ẹ. So stubbornness Ajimobi paid off for me.
Okay.
Because as at that time he could have said ṣé ẹ fẹ́ Festus ó yá máa yọ bàbá mo ti ní kó resign níbi tó ti ṣiṣẹ́. Níjọ́ tèmi àti bàbá láàmú àwa pàdé Alhaji Fatai Ibikunle rather.
Okay.
Àwọn ni wọ́n ìjọ yẹn as at that time bàbá ti ń sick díẹ̀díẹ̀. So àwọn àti Governor Ajimobi jọ lọ sí kẹ́ni máa ń porúkọ tó bá ṣe ń jọ Salai. So wọ́n wá sí presidential kí ni tó máa ń lọ ṣe ní Yídì.
Okay, Yídì, okay.
So wọ́n dé wọ́n bá jókòó wọ́n wọ bàtà ńgbà yẹn ráńpẹ́ sẹ̀ tí ń dùn. So gbogbo ọmọ wa ní Alhaji Fatai wa ní ó yá wá lọ kí bàbá ń bá dọ̀bálẹ̀ tánú mo ní Festus Adedayo wọ́n gbé wọ́n mọ tí mo ṣe yìí máa bú mi ni mo ṣáà kí wọn. About few weeks before he died, Ọbásanjọ́ wá bú wọn. I think he called him senile. Mi ò rántí nǹkan tí nínú paper. This day, mo rí this day, mo wá láti reply Ọbásanjọ́. Mo wá ghostwrite reply attacking Ọbásanjọ́ for saying that against the leader of the people of Oyo State. So wọ́n wá lo piece yẹn story yẹn all over. Bàbá wa rí story yẹn wá dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹni tí mo lórúkọ ẹ̀. Alhaji Fatai Ibikunle wa ni tọ́ ní kíni Festus tẹ́ láìkí ló kọ kíni Festus ló kọ. So ó wá dijọ́ yẹn ìjọ tí wọ́n publish ẹ̀ Alhaji Fatai wa ń kọjá lọ́fíìsì mo ṣàgbọ́ hold on bàbá hold on Festus. Wọ́n ṣe kọ́ ọba wọn rẹ́rìn Festus ó ṣe. So bẹ́ẹ̀ mi àti bàbá ṣe parí ìjà wa ni few weeks after náà.
Okay. So bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe dọ́dọ̀ Ajimobi ẹ lọ how many?
4 years.
4 years. Wọ́n return ni.
Wọ́n return.
Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀?
Long story. Ètí mo kàn lè sọ ni pé week tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe I wrote his 2 inaugural addresses. The first one nígbà tí wọ́n fẹ́ di governor 2011 wọ́n pe a professor of economics mi fẹ́ dárúkọ wọn kan fún wọn ní inaugural speech. So wọ́n á kọ inaugural Ajimobi wá kà ó ní it is too economic. I want an infusion of politics. Ìwọ àti Déolú, you people studied political science, a PhD in political science. Should be able to give me. So Déolú, Professor Akandina said, Festus, lọ fún mi ní draft. So I wrote the draft. Prof, of course, he also had it. But I wrote the bulk of it. And Ajimobi read it, fantastic. And that was this. So I became his speechwriter for the 4 years.
Okay.
And
every speech?
Every of his speech for 4 years. In fact, I made it into a book.
Okay.
So I was doing that with my job. To be fair to Ajimobi, he liked me. Wonderful man. Ajimobi liked me. However, àwọn forces to rise against me, within and without. Mo rántí few days before swearing, àwọn èèyàn ti kọ inaugural speeches fún wọn. Tí wọ́n kà, fún second term ní 2015. Mo fẹ́ dárúkọ àwọn tán kọ. Even now, somebody who is now at the presidency wrote one for him. So ìgbà yẹn ogun yẹn ti ń lọ. Mo rántí ìjọ kan, there was one day mo ti ń ṣe law while I was with him. So mo 200 level, a fẹ́ ṣe exam. So àwọn kan ti lọ bá wọn kó àwọn journalists wá látẹ̀kọ́. I think news editors, àwọn yẹn wá ń pè mí kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Mo ṣe conscience ọ̀gá ọ̀ṣà lè conscience wọn wá prick wọn láàárọ̀ yẹn. Wọ́n kàn pè mí ní Festus máa bọ̀. So àwọn editors yẹn wà lọ́dọ̀ wọn. Èmi ló yẹ kí n pè wọ́n yìí náà. so wọ́n ní uncle mi ló bá mi get àwọn pípẹ́ yẹn àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ ogun ẹ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Bàbá kan wà kọ́lọ́run dẹ̀lẹ̀ fẹ́ni tó lọ big person kan ní Ìbàdàn. Ìjọ kan wà tí wọ́n ṣe meeting ní kí náà porúkọ ibi tán ti ń ṣe meeting àwọn àgbààgbà Ìbàdàn. So bàbá yẹn ni leader wọn báyìí ó wá summon Punch correspondent. Ṣebí boy Adedayo ẹni ò kí ń jẹ́ kẹ́ rí governor. Boy yẹn ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. So gbogbo nǹkan tán sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ ni ọmọ yẹn boy náà wá pè mí ọ̀gá. You know, this particular guy who accident, I applied. I think the state government gave him 500,000 at that time. He was so appreciative to me. So conscience boy wá ń prick ẹ pé ọ̀gá nǹkan báyìí ni tí mi ò bá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá yẹn á ọ̀dà pé kí wọ́n sack mi ni o ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ọ̀gá. So mo ti ń rí àwọn ogun yẹn. But I was doing my job. But I was seeing all the battles. So few days, ọ̀gá kan sọmọ mi ní mi àti the man who was in charge of our waste nígbà yẹn. So he was telling me, Festus, look, you ṣe pé mo rójú ẹ o, ìwọ and few others mo fẹ́ lò fún second time. So lọ fún mi ní draft of my speech. So I sat down, ilé wọn ni mo wà títí di 4 a.m. níjọ́ swearing yẹn. So I was writing, I was correcting. So ìgbà tá a wá parí tí wọ́n ṣe swearing yẹn, mo ṣáà struggle. Ogun yẹn bẹ̀rẹ̀ gan. And I thank God. Èèyàn mọ̀ nígbà míì tọ́lọ́run bá ń ṣeré èèyàn ló ń ṣe bí ni. So at the end of the day, it didn't bring me back. But it gave me an opportunity to go back to what I know how to do best. I didn't go into active journalism, but I began my column all over. Okay. Events kan wá ṣẹlẹ̀. 2 events tí mo rántí tí mo fẹ́ sọ fún yín. Ìjọ kan wà, ó dé láti church, late Yinka Odumakin tó ní radio Petals. Ó wá fẹ́ ṣe, I think that was the day tán fẹ́ commission radio. Ó ṣe ní MOF 21. So he invited me, ọ̀rẹ́ mi. So he invited me, I was there. Ṣáà jókòó. Sunday evening, wọ́n ní governor ń bọ̀. Èmi ò kàn tí ẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ mọ̀ pé governor ń bọ̀. So èmi MD Tribune, Professor Deolu Akande, a wà ní front row ní audience. All of a sudden, announcing the arrival of the governor. Gbogbo àwa dìde láti welcome governor. So bá ṣe jókòó, wọ́n wà láì table. Àwọn èèyàn wá ń lọ kí wọn. Wọ́n ti Professor Akande wá wíṣọ àti já lọ kí ta ni. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ mọ̀ pọ̀ ọ̀gá mi, ó máa monitor environment ẹ̀ gan. Apparently ó rí mi tí mo kí ta ni. Mi ò kí o. So Professor Akande lọ kí wọn, àwọn èèyàn lọ kí wọn. So nígbà tó ayé àtàn fẹ́ ka speech wọn, Edmond Obilo ní compare níjọ́ ẹ̀. Gawani, you see, I always tell people when they say corruption is financial. No, corruption is attitudinal. Kí Festus máa jókòó síbẹ̀ kó máa wá kí mi is what I call attitudinal corruption.
Ọ̀sọ̀ sí microphone.
Gbogbo àwọn èèyàn kígbe.
Ó ti dùn ọ́.
Pé Festus èèyàn ọmọ mi dáadáa ni gbogbo nǹkan tá a jọ máa ṣe ń gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀. But apparently conscience wọn ti ń prick. So kò pẹ́ sígbà yẹn ó kàn wá díjọ́ kan. It was a Sunday. Ìjọ́ yẹn ni birthday late bàbá Adétúnjí di Olúbàdàn gbà.
Okay.
It was a Sunday, mo bá rí tí fóònù mi ring. Ọ̀gá ló ń pè mí. Ó ti ń lọ bí 3 years of me being out of power. Bá gbé. Festus, mo rí miss call ẹ. Mo sọ pé mi ò pè yín o. Mo pè to be insulting. Àmọ́ ní mo ní kí n kí ni sà.
Àwọn náà mọ̀ pé
ọ̀gá mi fẹ́ lówó ni. Ẹ mọ̀ pé ọ̀gá lọ̀gá máa jẹ́ wọn fẹ́ sọ pé ọ̀gá pé báwo ni ìjọ́ òní wàá rí mi ní ìjọ́ tẹ́ bá ní mo ń lọ sí birthday bàbá lẹ́ni ṣé wàá rí mi ní Tuesday. Mo ṣàrántí mo rí wọn ní Tuesday alẹ́ ni ní secretariat. Wọ́n ṣe jáde láti Escobar. I'm not seeing anybody. Mo fẹ́ rí Festus. mo fẹ́ rí engineer Òṣìbẹ̀rù so engineer Òṣìbẹ̀rù rí wọn èmi náà bá jókòó mo wá ọ̀ṣà mi mo bá dọ̀bálẹ̀ mo ní ọ̀gá ẹ̀ máa wonder why tí mo dọ̀bálẹ̀ gbalaja ẹ̀ lèmi náà wonder ni wọ́n máa sọ wọ́n ní Festus ń bú mi mo ní àwọn ọmọ mi ní Festus kò lè bú mi kinní kan mo ní ẹ má bínú because ní wọn parọ́ mo ní ọ̀rọ̀ tó jẹ́ láàrin ọmọ àti bàbá kò yẹ kí n externalize mo ní bẹ́ẹ̀ tó ọ̀gá ẹ̀ ṣe dáadáa sí mi mo ṣe náwó sí mo nà ọ̀gá wà shock mo ní ẹ̀ ṣe dáadáa sí mi mo ní kí ló dé mo ní ọ̀gá níjọba tá a rán lọ yẹn tí wọ́n bá ní àwọn olóṣèlú fẹ́ pa ẹnìkan èèyàn 5 because of their loyalty to you ṣé máa wà lára àwọn 5 ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wà lára when I was fighting your battles everywhere mi ò rákálà rí mi ò rí Ládọjà rí I never had any personal issue with me wọn kàn lè dá mi mọ̀ tán bá rí mi láàrin àwọn èèyàn I was fighting your battles kì í ṣe dandan kẹ́ pick me back but ẹ hold mi ní duty láti béèrè pé ọmọ yẹn tó kàn máa ń defend wa all over ṣókàn tí ẹ ń róúnjẹ jẹ ṣàlàáfíà ló wà ẹ wá béèrè mi lọ́dún 3 ọ̀gá mo ní and 1 or 2 weeks before then mo lọ review ìwé Honourable Fẹ́mi Kẹ́hìndé on SLA Akíntọ́lá UI láti ṣe ìwé yẹn so bàṣẹdébẹ Akala was the father of the day Ọ̀túnba Adébáyọ̀ Aláò Akala he was the father of the day Aláàfin was the royal father of the day so mo ṣe fẹ́ review ìwé yẹn mo ní I wanted to stand on the existing protocol but mo fẹ́ single out àwọn 2 people Kábíyèsí Aláàfin bàbá mi former governor Adedayo Aláò Akala mo kàn ní your excellency you know I've been your very good friend mo kàn ṣe ń kígbe láàrin no ọ̀tá mi ni ẹ o you have always been attacking me you have always been attacking me so bá ṣe wá parí wọn wá bẹ́kàn ṣé kò tàn báyìí wàá máa bú mi all over the place you are out I'm in wàá máa sọ pé mo ń travel all over the place nínú èmi àtọ̀gẹ́ ta ló ń travel jù àṣà I exchange number gbà yẹn it was thereafter that I knew pé Akala máa ní ọmọlúwàbí o ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ kan ṣẹlẹ̀ maybe 1 or 2 years after mo kàn drive lọ ní sáìdì Bẹ̀rẹ̀ mo ṣe rí fóònù tó rìn ní ó bá di Akala Akala mo bá gbé your excellency sir Festus ibolowa mo ní mo wà ń bàdàn sir mo bọ̀ lé mi mo bọ̀ láti kọ́kọ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn ibo ni bàbá mi wọ́n júwèé ibi tán gbé òkè máa sọ fáwọn èèyàn tí mo pé ẹjọ́ Akala ní kí n wá tí nǹkan kan bá ṣẹlẹ̀ sí mi o n bá délé wọn bá gbé manuscript lé mi lọ that's my biography I want you to handle it you edit it you bring the publisher you will handle everything nǹkan kan tó lè yọ kúrò bẹ́ẹ̀ ni title of the book which is Amazing Grace but every other thing you are at liberty mo tún gbé kíní ẹ̀ mọ́ lọ báyìí máa yí ó mọ̀ pé I spent years writing against Akala màá ṣàbẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe ìwé yẹn ìjọ kan wà mo délé wọn èmi àti wọn jókòó báyìí bí ìyàwó wọn Chief Mrs. Kẹ́mi Akala nọ́mbà wọlé máa kí wọn Your Excellency máa ẹ̀ka ẹ̀yin ní Festus Adedayo mo níbẹ̀ ni tí ìbá ṣe pé mo jẹ́ onígbàgbọ́ bá lé ń jáde ń bí ni ẹ bú ọkọ mi pọ̀
so bó ṣe dùn wọ́n tó wọ́n tó sì pè yín pé
wọ́n sì pè mí so ìgbà mọ́ tí ta bá ti ń sin tá n pick àwọn photographs ta fẹ́ lò fún mi Festus wo 1974 rí o ṣó rí chain lọ́rùn mi ó ti pẹ́ tí mo ti ń ṣe wàá máa bú mi pé mo ń lo chain sọ́rùn máa ń lo chain sẹ́sẹ̀
so every opportunity
Festus kíní kan wonderful human being mo tún run into trouble lórí ìwé yẹn I mean that was it Akala game first check náà kọ́ fún mi láti produce ìwé yẹn was 5.5 million I tún run into trouble mo sọ fún he still gave me money to run that book ó bá ku bàbá Olúnlọ́yọ̀ náà ní kọ́kọ́ forward bàbá ẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ó máa ń take time dẹ̀ ti ń lọ Festus ìwọ lọ́kọ̀ forward bàbá ẹ̀ fẹ́ fi trick mú mi lẹ́yìn pé ẹnu tí ìgbé fi bú òrìṣà kó wá fẹ́ nu ẹ̀
kò fi gbolẹ̀.
So bàbá ẹ̀ fẹ́ kí n now that I'm close to him ó fẹ́ kí n recount àwọn somebody who had written a
lot against
you.
Yeah.
So he now wanted me to write. So I sat down and I told myself I wasn't going to recount. Nínú forward yẹn tẹ́ bá kà, I'll give you a copy of the forward of the book. Mo sọ pé mo ṣẹ̀ wá. It was while handling the book ni mo discover why his projects didn't last, especially road projects of Alawa Akala. So mo ṣe kọ forward yẹn tí mo fún Festus kí ló mean mọ̀ bọ̀ wọ́n kí ló mean by
pay project in your last.
Mo ní Your Excellency gba mo ka ìwé yìí ni mo wá discover pé it was providence that brought you here that made you to be governor of Oyo State. So many people helped you to where you are and you feel that you want to return favors. And in the process, you were not rigorous in ensuring that they did quality job. We said, you are very correct. And that thing passed. It passed. Tebari, that was how I wrote it there. Nínú ìwé forward to him. And thereafter, I found out that Omowura of the highest order ní Alawa Akala. Shemo, it's a moment to just place, as a writer, when you encounter somebody you had been, writing against for several years, I discovered, yes, it's not as if those things he didn't do them. For instance, the shoddy projects that I used to write against, but beneath that was an Omowura par excellence. Kí lẹ béèrè lọ́wọ́ mi náà tí mo fi veer into.
A sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Ajimobi. Pé ẹnìkan sún
Okay, so
2 weeks earlier.
Mo wá sọ fún wọn pé Your Excellency, a few weeks ago, I met Akala. Then sọ fún mi pé ṣé ò tán mi bí? Ṣé ò tán mi bí náà ni? Pé so Akala, I never met him until about 2 weeks ago. Ẹ wá ń jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn wá máa sọ̀rọ̀ sí wa pé, and then Akala told me, I don't abandon people who stand by me the way you stood by your boss. So ma sọ gbogbo ẹ̀. For the first time, I wrote it as a tribute. See, when Ajimobi died, I wrote all this. Ajimobi, Festus, dáríjì mi. Dáríjì mi. And thereafter, when he left government, wọ́n pè mí, because I was going on radio stations and I was telling them about the good things that I did. Níjọ́ kan wọ́n pè mí, mo rántí mo ṣẹ̀ dé láti US ni. So I now traveled to Akure. I was doing a workout. And then mo rí phone Ajimobi, Festus to show. Oh, bá wa ṣe second time. And all over, àwọn èèyàn ń pè mí. Wọ́n sọ fún mi, ṣé Festus wà lórí rédíò lẹ́nìí? Ṣé ló ń praise yín? Dẹ̀ pé ẹ padà fún second time. Ó ṣe o. Wọ́n ti ìjọ́ tèmi àti Adedayo lọ rí wọn few weeks before he died. Festus. OJ Adebayo sọ fún mi pé mo lọ sí Kigali, from there mo lọ US. Festus ó ti wá di Àjàlá travel. Jẹun wúwo fún ẹ. Give me money.
Like pé Barrister Ojo sọ nígbà tán wá sí.
Give me money. Festus ẹ má ti ilẹ̀ wá máa bá mi ṣeré. He had left government. Àwọn èèyàn ti abandon.
Kò sí èrò mọ́. So nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú Nnamani ti padà.
Exactly, wá padà. Mo tó rántí ìjọ. I saw Ajimobi few days before he died. I saw him last on May 5. Ṣé mi pa Ayinla Omowura ìwé mi? Ó jáde ní May 6, 40th anniversary ikú Ayinla Omowura. So mo mú a copy of the book. Èmi àti OJ àtọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ la lọ bá wọn nígbà COVID. In fact, there was curfew that time. So àwa lọ kí wọ́n ṣe ìgbà ẹni wọ́n breaking of fast. Àwẹ̀ wà ń gbà yẹn. So àwa àti èmi OJ àtọ̀rẹ́ OJ àti Ajimobi àti Madam Mrs. Ajimobi lájọ wà ní table. Gani Festus, ó yá mẹ́ràn, àmúnjẹ. It was the love now came afresh. In fact, before catalog break, mo kàn kọ mo autograph copy ìwé mi fún wọn ní Your Excellency, you taught us that only the best was enough. I said, Festus, oh, mo pé àwọn òyìnbó ẹ̀ mo máa ń learn English from you. You know, those were the last words Ajimobi said to me. And wọ́n sìn wá lọ sí di mọ́tò lálẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn. And intuitively I looked back. I just saw aṣọ wọn yẹn. It was something unusual. In fact, I wrote it in my tribute to him. As I was looking at him as he was going, that was the last time I was going to see him.
And he was not sick.
He wasn't sick. He wasn't sick at all. Martin jẹun Festus, we are mẹ́ràn ẹran ló wà ń bẹ̀, we are jẹun. Festus àmàlà kan yóò tó ẹ̀. He was particularly very, very friendly towards me. Ajimobi was a great man.
Because tó wà ní governor àti ìgbà tẹ́ padà lọ yẹn, ìwà wọn ti yàtọ̀ àbí?
Pẹ̀lú is the experience that people rántí statement Ruben Abati that your phone will stop ringing. Is an encounter that anybody in government will face. The number of àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ tó acquire while you are in government wọ́n fẹsẹ̀ fẹ́. Àwọn your core friends are the ones who will be with you. It happened to Nnamani. It happened to Ajimobi. Ìjọ́ tí mo ní èmi àti Oje lọ kí wọn. There was only one person who came to see him. Ọ̀gá ò tún fẹ́ ká lọ gan pé ẹ dúró ẹ bá mi ṣeré. You know, as at that time, àwọn arírere bá ní jẹ àgbọn sálẹ̀.
Tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹsẹ̀ gírí.
Kẹ́ tó lè rí commander ẹsẹ̀ gírí. Kẹ́ tó lè rí governor gbà yẹn, look, I'm giving you just 3 minutes. But now, he didn't want us to go. And it's a fate that will befall anybody in government.
Yeah. Okay, 2019. One appointee, what they fire Ayinla láàrin. According to what is in the news.
Okay.
One fire Ayinla láàrin. I think that same day or maybe the following day, you were appointed as
special advisor
of media to
Senate President
Lawan. Kí lẹ ṣe fún wọn?
Yes. As at that time, Cheryl, after the Ajimobi experience, I told myself.
That's the first time.
Tí mo ṣe essay.
Tí wọ́n pè yín padà.
No, even my time, my years, my 4 years of working with Ajimobi, my years with Nnamani. By that time, ọ̀rọ̀ à ń ṣe media kìíní to a governor, ó ti ń crawl lọ́kàn mi. Just like bàbá wa tá di Olúbàdàn ní wíìkì. Níjọ́ kan èmi àti wọn bàbá Ládọjà, àjọ wà ní I think it was a symposium tí Honorable Babatunde Odúṣọyè ṣe on his birthday, 60th birthday. So I was one of the panelists. Àjọ jókòó sí high table. Bàbá, Justice Adeniji, èmi. I think Wabara was also the former Senate President. Okay. So bá ṣe wá ṣe tán, àwa ń lọ, wọ́n lọ kí wọn. And Festus, that was the very first time Baba would be seeing me. I think that should be about 2019 nìyẹn ṣẹlẹ̀. 2022 àbí nǹkan kan lèmi àti wọn ríra for the first time. Bá ní Festus, mo wà lára àwọn tó ń gbé placard nígbà tí wọ́n náà fi ẹ́ ṣe essay sí Lawan. Ìwọ gan àwọn tó ń lọ sáàbì wọn ò lọ́pọlọ tó ẹ̀ náà. Àwọn gan ló yẹ kó máa ṣe essay. So, in other words, mo ti ń reassess this issue of appointments. Because I see it as iṣẹ́ àgbépò ni. Just go there to claim mess. And then if you are not lucky, it will sink you. Many people, tí mi ò fẹ́ dárúkọ wọn, who used to operate at a very high level in the media. Wọ́n bá ti lọ sọ́fíìsì ẹ̀, unless God is with you, you will go with it. Whatever is the burden tí principal tó bá carry out of it, for instance, bóyá ó jalè àbí ọ̀nkan, it will rub off on you. Ìwọ tó jẹ́ pé ọ̀gá ẹ̀ ò ní pè ẹ́ pé ìwọ ọmọ mo fẹ́ lọ jí owó yìí o. ìwọ ni wàá defend ẹ̀ ìwọ ni wàá
create
defend
stories
ẹ̀.
that
I mean so most times they don't survive it. So mo ti ń reassess taking up such appointments. So this day in 2019, by then I was at the law school. I think she externship wa. My externship, by the way, I did it at Adedayo and Gbadamosi, OJ's chambers.
Okay.
So this day, I was at home in the morning, around 7 a.m. Mo fi phone mi sílẹ̀, mo wá lọ sínú restroom. Mo wá dé, mo rí pé mo ti rí miss call, mo ti ní miss call. It was my friend Yusuf Olaniyonu, former commissioner for information to Governor Mosun, former SA media to Saraki. And so they were just leaving the office. So mo ṣe rí miss call, mo á pè padà. Yusuf, mo rí miss call, ẹ wá ní pé the new Senate president, Lawan, who entrusts the task of getting his own successor, rather, to him. We could look around in the media who was capable of being a successor to him. Many of our colleagues sọ̀rọ̀, but òun believe pé mi ni mo lè ṣe. Bí dẹ̀ ṣe sọ tán, mo dẹ̀ sọ pé Yusuf wà láyé, a máa gbọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí. Yusuf, ó mọ̀ pé mi ò proud, but I don't want to do that job again. So, má bínú, I don't want to do it. Then, ó dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ pé, okay, no problem, thank you. They drop phone. Àwọn obìnrin, my wife was beside me pé, láì bá wọn file appointment. Mo ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Àwọn èèyàn méjì kan wà tí mo mọ̀ pé o ní respect fún, tí wọn ò ní mislead ẹ̀. Ṣe kọ́kọ́ sound it by them. Tán bá dẹ̀ sọ pé kó má gbà. So, one of them was Honorable Babs Oduyoye. The other was my brother, Ajowala to the same Akure. Olumide Origunloye orúkọ ẹ̀. So I called Babs, and Babs said, look, tí play in Federal Arena, local champion, yeah? It's an opportunity for you to also show the world that what you did at the state level, you could do it at the federal. I think you should take the job. Mo pe Origunloye, and he said, look, it's an opportunity for you to help our people in Akure, the young people who don't have jobs. If you are there, you can use your leverage. Kofi Ba will get iṣẹ́. And I think I saw sense in what they said. So reluctantly, mo believe pé wọn ò lè ever fi mi ṣe essay pẹ̀lú gbogbo nǹkan tí mo ń kọ against Buhari. As at that time, but I just wanted to fulfill all righteousness. So I called Yusuf Olaniyonu and I said, Yusuf, má bínú. I spoke with some of my people, and they are of the opinion that I should try it. Okay, no problem. So thank God, for almost 1 week, kò sẹ́ni tó get back to money. Mo ti sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, kò sẹ́ni tá gbọ́ orúkọ mi. Tá fẹ́ gbà mí sí ìjọba Buhari. So on a Sunday night, I think I was leaving Recreation Club, mo ti gba scotch now. Around 9 p.m., we can receive call. Hello, who is this? Any, my name is Hakeem Baba Ahmed. Hakeem Baba Ahmed was the chief of staff to Saraki.
Okay.
So, Ongon ló sọ fún Yusuf Olaniyonu, being a professional, a media professional, because Scoutra. So, the Senate president will be meeting you tomorrow at Transcorp Hotel. Okay. So I went to Abuja. I was there. I went with 2 photocopies of my CV. Wọ́n ti interview àwọn kan náà before me. They jókòó, but the fún Senate president a copy of my CV. I gave Hakeem Baba Ahmed. And I saw that as the Senate president, mo ṣe ń wo CV mi ló ń rẹ́rìn. And the first question he asked me was, Dr. Adedayo, how did you manage to earn all these degrees? A first degree in philosophy, master's in political science, PhD in political science, LLB. How did you manage? And you are a journalist. So I told him the story of my life. some of which I have told you now. So mo dẹ̀ sọ story life and okay. Mi ò rántí question tí Akeem Baba Ahmed náà béèrè lọ, but the second question tí Lawan béèrè lọ mi ni pé the impression people have is that I'm a villa stooge or something like that. But so how do you want to ensure that there's a redirection of that image?
Villas to G.
And pé lapdog president lò.
Okay.
Pé so pé mo ní láti change image yẹn for him, and I told him how I would do it, and he was excited. So they said we should not go back and await the Senate president's verdict in the case. So according to the rule 12, bí Baba Ahmed ṣe pè mí pé congratulations, the Senate president has chosen you as his media advisor. Then thank you. So mo máa lọ sí airport ni mo ń dúró fún flight mi tó ń bọ̀ ní Ìbàdàn tí mo rí pé wọ́n ti announce ẹ̀. It became a bedlam. Mo ṣe ń land ní Ìbàdàn, oh my God. In fact, ìgbà tí màá fi délé, battery phone mi ti kú. People were calling me from all over. And then the war began. People saying that boy never. And a former governor in the Southwest was the one who started the battle. Yes.
Tani governor.
Imagine dárúkọ wọn. Boy yẹn, that former governor ó sọ fún ọ̀rẹ́ mi Oje pé ọ̀tá mi láyé lọ́run ni Festus. Ọ̀run ládẹ̀ ti parí ìjà. So oló coordinate battle yẹn, because I found out later. Ó lo attorney general tí wọ́n ti wá jọ dọ̀tá báyìí láti coordinate ẹ̀. So and the battle was fierce. Èmi gan people, as at that time, it was the most talked about issue in Nigeria that week. So, in fact, some governors were calling me, mo fẹ́ forúkọ bọ̀ wọ́n láṣìírí. Governor kan wà tó pè mí pé mo wà ní ọ́fíìsì Lawan nísìn. In fact, wọ́n ti sọ́mọ̀ ẹ̀ ní villa lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀. Màá tún fún ẹ ní feedback later. Later. Another governor tún pè mí, your former boss, Nnamani, went and met him and told him, I encountered the same problem when I chose this guy as my media aide. Because people were saying that he was always attacking Obasanjo and that I should not appoint him. You know, Nnamani was an Obasanjo person. And that what he told them was that if he was an Obasanjo person, the moment he starts working with me, then you have lost one of your enemies because he will become your friend. Now, so he walked to Lawan and told him, to bring this guy on board, he will no longer be attacking the system. Don't you see that? That is a plus. But Ọlọ́run, ṣe mọ̀ pé tí ọmọ olóore bá fẹ́ jìn sí kòtò, mọ̀nàmọ́ná á ṣiṣẹ́ ìmọ́lẹ̀. And I think that was just what happened, because that job would have ruined me. Ẹ bá máa gbọ́ ẹni tó ń jẹ́ Festus Adedayo, ẹ bá máa pòṣé ni. Because you know what Lawan stood for. In fact, during his Senate presidency, nígbà tó issue release pé whatever the president brought, àwọn á sign it to become law. One of my younger colleagues, mi ò fẹ́ dárúkọ ẹ̀, sent me a message. Say, Oga, congratulations. Mo ní congratulations. Mo imagine kó jẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin lè append orúkọ yín sí release. It was enough to destroy you. So it would have destroyed me. And then after that encounter, I looked up into the skies and told God, I don't want to do this job again all the days of my life. I can be a consultant, but pé kí n wá lọ máa lọ ṣe media advisor, see, not even the president, not even the media advisor of any president. Where I am now, I'm enjoying the best of time.
But tí president bá reach out to yín ńkọ́, personal tó fẹ́ lo brain ni
Ọlọ́run
pé
ní jẹ́.
kẹ wá serve.
Ṣé rí kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀ ọ̀la o, àdó mi ò lè rí beyond my nose. Èmi Festus Adedayo tí mo jọ mi ò gbàdúrà ẹ̀, mi ò gbàdúrà kí Ọlọ́run ever jẹ́ kí n ṣiṣẹ́ ẹ̀ mọ́. I could do any, I could serve whoever that I feel that I am more aligned with in other areas, but certainly not this job. Kì í ṣiṣẹ́ tó yẹ kí irú mi ṣe mọ́. In any case, I don't even, Sherry, I tell you, Sundays are the best days of my life. When I write, àwọn èèyàn á bú mi, àwọn èèyàn á praise me, but none of them will say that it's not contributing to the progress of Nigeria.
So at the brilliance,
at least they will all agree that this guy is contributing his own quota. It's like his Tinubu bashing is too much. That boy is always attacking the president, but you will not say that he's not lending a voice to what is happening in the country.
All right. Before I get to the story, Ayinla Omowura, there are what debate. Law. Pẹ̀lú gbogbo ethical gbogbo everything tó padà lọ ṣe law. Ṣé ẹ fi ṣọ̀rẹ́ pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn pé ẹ láwọn ọ̀rẹ́ tó lọ ṣe law yẹn náà ó pè à kí n lọ ṣe.
Well, I think Adebayo Ojo, Mutalubi Ojo, ọ̀rẹ́ mi, my very good friend, was the inspiration. Because when he was Attorney General, he was always encouraging me. Mo rántí pé the first form tí mo fẹ́ fi wọ University of Ibadan láti lọ ṣe law, òun ló mú mi lọ sí Faculty of Law, to tell them pé he has all what it takes to start studying law. I think one thing led to the other. I didn't get admission. First, I wanted to satisfy my father. Unfortunately, he was late by the time I became a lawyer. I started law when I was special advisor of media to Ajimobi. It wasn't easy, but I was till understanding pẹ̀lú àwọn close aides governor bẹ́ẹ̀ tán bá pè mí ẹ sọ fún wọn pé mò ń bọ̀ tán bá ti pè mí ẹ̀yìn ni màá gbà jáde kúrò ní class màá sáré lọ rí governor. And I was enjoying it, but kò easy. Kéèyàn lọ fi agbára arúgbára lọ kàwé. Kò easy in the sense pé wà ready láti gba insult. Because ẹ̀gbin wà ń bẹ̀. Many of my colleagues in UI then, the set of 2017, what we call ourselves 2018, because 2018 la parí because of strike. They were respectful. They gave me my own respect. But of course, ẹ lè rí kò sí kẹ́ má rí àwọn kàńdá. Tí wọ́n kọ̀ ìjọ kan ní lecturer kan wò mí ó kàn sọ pé ẹnìkan pè mí doctor, you are all the same. They are all colleagues here.
Lecturers.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni lecturer. Nígbà tó lọ́mọ adé wa gbé ṣẹ̀dẹ̀ kò pẹ́ sígbà yẹn ni lecturer yẹn wá ní issue. Ó wá wẹ̀ pé ta ló ń lé ó bá wà sir. This student said inshallah one competition sì dín pé kí ni advice on kí ni kò ń ṣe. My advice ẹ ṣe báyìí. Well, yeah, thank you, sir. Hey, did you finish from here? Some years ago, I did my PhD at that Faculty of the Social Sciences. And by the way, your dad, he was a professor of economics. I used to interview him many years ago. You were probably in the primary school.
The same place where you are all the same.
So, and when I went to the law school, Lagos campus, it was, the stress was almost killed me. Let's go easy. Lagos campus, dreaded campus. There are days we'll start lectures, when I went 9, 7 p.m. And then, I'm a drill, everybody and drill on my crutch. Oh yeah, you told me, what did I say?
In law school.
In law school. Tell me, because it's cramming. You have to be able to cram. Most of those things you have to cram them. Unfortunately, they cram. I mean, what I used to king call in my own words. I nearly failed. Co-work. You have to be able to cram. But it was a huge lesson. I got called to the bar in 2019. And last year, I finished my LLM at the University of Ibadan with a proceed for PhD in law, but náà pé ibi tí mo bá dé ti tó.
Ẹ̀rọ jù.
Torí mo wá ń bèrè lọ́wọ́ ara mi gan pé ṣé ìṣepò sick. These degrees and mo rántí ọ̀rẹ́ mi kan, I have a top a friend who is at the top. Ǹjọ́ kan máa lọ sọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀, so ó ní fáìlì níwájú ẹ̀, ó fẹ́ gba ẹnìkan síṣẹ́. Well, mo ṣe wọlé ní Adedayo, this is your degree. When are you going to end it? Do you know I have somebody like you? Ó ní wọ́n gbé fáìlì ẹ̀, wọ́n ní kí n gbà síṣẹ́. He has 2 or 3 PhDs, has 3 masters. I think he's sick. Money, are you saying I'm sick? I'm not saying that though. But this is your degree. So I think I'm reviewing it. Okay. And I don't know. If I might do, I can go and do PhD in law. If I might do.
Ṣé ẹ fi pé ẹwà ẹ dùn? I think feel bẹ́ẹ̀. All right. Ẹ já sọ̀rọ̀ pa, to write this book, 537 pages. Ayinla Omowura. Nínú gbogbo eléyìí náà, let's ráyè tó kọ ilé.
It's a long story. My late father, I told you, ọlọ́pàá ni wọ́n. But wọ́n máa ń ra àwọn cassettes àwọn olórin. Epo Àkàrà, Ayinla Omowura, Sakala Igbade, Yusuf Olatunji, Esaka Baba Waidi. So he used to buy all those cassettes and I would listen to them. Etí mo like ìjùnú gbogbo wọn ní Epo Àkàrà. Tí wọ́n bá sọ pé màá kọ̀wé lórí olórin,
ẹ máa rò pé Epo Àkàrà.
Màá rò pé Epo Àkàrà. I'm talking of in the 70s. Kò sórin Epo Àkàrà tí mi ò mọ̀. Kò sí, and I fell in love with Epo Àkàrà. Àwọn orin tọmọdé bá ní tẹríba ò bọmọdé bá ní tẹríba ẹ̀tọ́ ni kórìn má lágbà ẹ̀tọ́ ni kórìn má lágbà bọmọdé bá ní tẹríba. Kò sórin Epo Àkàrà tí mi ò mọ̀. However, ìgbà tí wọ́n pa Alhaji Ayinla Omowura 1980, I tended to move towards him because of the nature of his death. But I never knew I would write anybody. So I was listening to him. Then ìgbà tí mo wá go into journalism. I remember in 2004, mo wà l'Enugu. Mo wá wálé. Mo ra àwọn cassette Ayinla Omowura tó ń pọ̀ gan. Mo kó wọn lọ s'Enugu, so mo listen sí gbogbo. Mo wá kọ piece kan nínú Guardian bá mi lo piece ẹ̀ ní 2004. I think 2004 May 6. Piece ẹ̀ mo kàn gbogbo orin tí mo gbọ́ mi ò ráyìn Ayinla Omowura rí, mi ò mọ anything nípa ẹ̀. The closest I heard of him was, from my mother-in-law from Abeokuta who knew him. So mo kàn kọ piece ẹ̀, doing an analysis of his song. Guardian lò for about 4 or 5 pages. One spice ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú photographs Ayinla Omowura. I remember the title of the piece was Ayinla Omowura. Maybe 2004, 24 years after the Sybarite. A Sybarite is somebody who loves the life of wine, women, and drink. Mm-hmm. So mo ṣe analysis there. So, but Guardian published, Guardian, it was a Friday. So people started calling me, oh mama, this much, why don't you upgrade it into a book? And it will learn. So but nǹkan tí mo máa ń ṣe ni pé every year, màá tún upgrade piece yẹn, màá send ẹ̀ sáwọn newspapers, wọ́n bá mi publish ẹ̀. So, níbi ṣebí 2019 mo lọ sí law school. I think it was early 2019. There was this young man, Ganiyu Waidi. He's late now, Kolon Forunke. He just searched for me. Ó kàn pàdé mi. Mo rántí pa pàdé ní recreation club. Wọ́n ní ẹ̀gbọ́n, I've been a fan of yours. Mo dẹ̀ máa ń ka àwọn articles yín lórí Ayinla Omowura. Ṣe fi kọ̀wé. Ìwé ló sọ̀rọ̀. Ìwé máa take ní àhá máa assist yín. Kíní kan. Mo ní mo ti gbọ́. So gba exchange number. Kí jẹ́ kí n gbádùn. A tún wá bá mi lọ́fíìsì. Ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ jẹ́ ká ibi tẹ́ bá fẹ́ kí n ti assist yín máa assist. Ó wá link mi mọ́ boy kan journalist náà ní Lábẹ́òkúta. A pè yẹn wá sí Ìbàdàn. So I paid him. He would be my research assistant. So the guy agreed. I was paying him every month. So tó bá ti ó ṣe àwọn underground but èmi náà tún lọ. Èmi àti Waheed agbémọ́tò a lọ sí Abẹ́òkúta. I interview bàbá kan báyìí. I'm sure he's late now. Ọ̀rẹ́ Ayinla Omowura ni. So he knew a lot about him. Mo interview ìyàwó Ayinla Omowura. Kí lórúkọ woman? Interview wọn research assistant. Any of the interviews tó bá ṣáà strong á pè mí máa lọ interview Kollington Ayinla ní Alágbàdo. And then when I gathered, the materials were awesome.
Ó pọ̀ nlẹ̀ gan. In fact, when I wrote this book in mo kúrò ní law school ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe August or September la kúrò. So mo ti gba gbogbo àwọn wọ́n ti turn in research assistant ti turn in gbogbo àwọn interviews yẹn. Mo lọ sí Oxford ní UK. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi Professor Wale Adebawi was at the University of Oxford. Ó bá mi gba travel lodge hotel. In fact, that was when èmi àti ẹ̀gbọ́n Délé Momodu, I met. He was also at travel lodge. He even gave us dinner. So what I did was to wake up, eat my breakfast, start writing the book. But over to dialect, Prof. I did that. I think I was in Oxford for about 2 weeks. From Oxford, I went to Atlanta. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi Romanos, my Unilag classmate, Romanos Agbojeyin, ilé ẹ̀ Atlanta. Wọ́n àti ìyàwó ẹ̀ wọ́n ti lọ bíṣẹ́. Ìyá ìyàwó ẹ̀ wọ́n ti sóúnjẹ fún mi. Àti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí kọ ìwé. Màá kọ́ di bí ìrọ̀lẹ́ ńgbà tó bá dé ìyàwó ẹ̀ àti ra coffee fún mi, àti ra coffee àtúnṣe. So that was by the time I came back to Nigeria, I finished this book in 2-3 months. Mm-hmm. In fact, I wrote my publisher, I wrote 200 and something thousand words. Aláti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wa máa gé. So Agekuele ni.
Agekuele ni.
Wow.
The information available to me was too much. And so when I finished writing it, mo rántí ọ̀rẹ́ mi, Professor Akande called me. My print ju bí 200 copies. So èèyàn mélòó ló fẹ́ ka Ayinla Omowura? Àwọn mélòó ló rántí Ayinla Omowura? But to the glory of God, that book, máa sọ fáwọn èèyàn pé tí mo bá people's knowledge of me tó bá jẹ́ bí 30% before this book, Ayinla Omowura shut it up. Because right now, when you talk about Ayinla Omowura, kò possible kẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ Ayinla Omowura kẹ́ bá sọ̀rọ̀ Festus Adedayo. And then the reception was ó ti pọ̀ jù. I printed how many thousand copies? And as I'm talking to you, mi rò pé mo ní 100 copies.
Because there was a time there sọ fún mi pé kò pọ̀ nlẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, I don't think I have up to 100
copies. Initially kò lọ.
Ó lọ from the word go. From the word go ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lọ. And people were asking for it, calling me. Booksellers, people were asking Labekuta all over. People were no, it was Olagbara. And then I had to I was in Philadelphia on account of this book to present this book among academics. African Studies Association, there was their convention or whatever that they had in Philadelphia in 2022. They invited me through Professor Saheed Aderinton. Okay. And I was there. Àwọn òyìnbó tí mo ń kọ orin Ayinla Omowura táwọn èèyàn tán nínú hall, and that, for me, that was the height.
Ẹ já sọ díẹ̀ nínú kékeré nínú àwọn kọ̀tẹ́ àwọn research tí ó common tí tẹ́ kọ sínú ẹ̀. Because iṣẹ́ yẹn tẹ́ pọ̀ gan gidi tí máa sọ wípé mi ò tí kà tán ṣọ́ra pé ibi gan tí mo tà ń bẹ̀ kò kéré but mi ò tí ráàyè kà tán ọjọ́ kan màá kàn tún gbé màá kàn tún but èyí tó máa ń dùn mí ń bẹ̀ òun ni ti Bayewumi. Now pẹ̀lú knowledge law tẹ̀ ti ní sìn tó wáyé pé àsìkò yìí ní nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yẹn ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣe ẹ̀rọ kan máa sentence Bayewumi to death.
It's a very deep question. First, let me tell you the story of how Bayewumi killed Ayinla Omowura. Ayinla Omowura, when he started music, ara àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ supporters ẹ̀ ní Bayewumi. Fatai Bayewumi, I think he read up to standard 4, I guess. So need some knowledge, some education. In fact, he was working as an insurance man in Abeokuta. But he allegedly stole some money. And in fact, kó tó di pé ìgbà tó jẹ́ insurance gbajúmọ̀ dẹ̀ ni, ọmọ ẹ̀ tí mo interview sọ fún mi pé tí bàbá òun bá jókòó níta àtàwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ sànmọ́rí ẹgbẹ́ wọ́n invite Ayinla Omowura ó ní sẹ́ẹ̀lì ló máa ń lò mí o sẹ́ẹ̀lì ni àwọn instrument tó máa ń lò nígbà yẹn ó tún jókòó akàn jókòó àdúrà máa entertain wọn ní bóyá kan wà ní ẹgbẹ́ lébà wọn máa kọrin tá fún máa entertain. In fact ó claim pé damask tí Ayinla Omowura wọ̀ ní first album ẹ̀ pé bàbá òun ló fún. That was what the boy said. So, but Bayewumi was involved in allegation of stealing from the insurance company. So wá láti sá lọ sí north. So nígbà tó wá sá lọ sí north, ó sá lọ sí north. Àyìnlá wá lọ ṣeré ní north. Mi ò rántí ìlú yẹn ní north. Ló wá síbẹ̀ láyìnlá ní Bayewumi ó dẹ̀ lọ láti ìjọ padà wálé kó wá máa bá wa ṣe manager. Ìwọ kàwé àwa ò kàwé wá lè máa fi ló wá sọ pé nǹkan báyìí mo gbọ́ pé from what I gathered Àyìnlá wá sanwó tí ó jẹ́ insurance yẹn òun ló enable Bayewumi láti padà sílé sábẹ́kúta. So he became their manager and was providing, but wọ́n ló máa ń jí owó tí wọ́n bá gbà kò kí ń kí ló máa ń porúkọ owó booking yẹn kò kí ń fi jíṣẹ́ tán débi pé ó lè gbowó booking tí event tó yẹ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Saturday àwọn èèyàn á wá sọ́fíìsì tí wọ́n máa.
ṣé ọmọ Bayewumi ló sọ yẹn.
ọmọ Bayewumi ló sọ yẹn.
Okay.
So ó lè jẹ́ pé lopsided account ni but from other accounts too nǹkan tí mo gather ni pé he was a drunk. Okay. You know, so and it was affecting his disposition, his management of the band. But he was a very tall man. They said he was about 6 feet 2 inches. Ìyàwó Ayinla Omowura kan sọ pé òun àti Ayinla Omowura wọ́n ní àṣà kan ẹgbẹ́júlẹ̀ something like that. Wọ́n ní àṣà kan something bírú almost like a cultic kìíní tán jọ máa ń sọ láàrin ara wọn. So ó wá di ijọ́ kan ní December wọ́n máa ń ṣe rehearsal nílé Ayinla Omowura ní Thursdays. So wọ́n ṣe rehearsal níjọ́ ẹ̀ bọ́n ṣe wá ṣe lókè tẹ́ bá ti délé Ayinla pop stairs. So wọ́n ṣe wá parí rehearsal wọ́n wá sí sitting room. Ayinla Omowura wọn sọ pé ẹnìkan lápá nínú gbogbo èyí tẹ́ ẹ dúró síbi. So bàbá Adéwọlé tí mo interview wa ní àwọn béèrè lọ pé Ayinla ìwọ wọ́n ní ọ̀rọ̀ pípa nínú nǹkan tá à ń sọ wà ló mọ nǹkan tó ń sọ pé ẹnìkan lápá nínú àwọn tó wà ní. Bàbá Adéwọlé láwọn bá béèrè lọ pé bí èmi bí wọ́n ní ìwọ kọ́ bí èmi bí ibi kọ́
ó dọ̀rọ̀ Jésù
ló bá dorí Bayewumi bá ní bí èmi pé ìwọ rẹ̀ máa pa mí. So ìyàwó Ayinla Omowura tí mo interview wa sọ pé bí wọ́n ṣe wá ń lọ sílé níjọ́ yẹn lórí pé Bayewumi was very sad wọ́n ní ó wá approach wọ́n ní òun ò ní pẹ́ fi Alhaji Ayinla lẹ̀. Ó lọ wá ní àkó má ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ pé òun náà ló ń fún wọn ní knowledge with his education wá níra ó ló sọ pé òun lòun á pa òun nísò òun ò dẹ̀ fẹ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀. So but shortly after ó abandon band wọn lóòótọ́ òun la Ayinla Omowura fi kọrin ẹ ti mọ bí ẹ gbé wá dé kí ẹ tó fẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ sí ilẹ̀ Bayewumi ẹ mọ bí ẹ gbé wá dé kí ẹ tó fẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ sí ilẹ̀ kọ́lọ́run má kọ̀ mí mò ń gbàdúrà o. Wọ́n ní wọ́n wá ṣeré alápánsánpá nìbàdàn fún alápánsánpá ní weekend ẹ̀ Bayewumi was not there. So ibẹ̀ ni absence ẹ̀ ti wà very noticeable. So nílé ẹ̀ wọ́n ló ṣe fẹ́yàwó tuntun àkáǹtì tí mò ń sọ àkáǹtì ọmọ ẹ̀ ni o.
Okay.
Ó ní so ó wá antenna tẹlifíṣàn wa ní problem, ó wá gun àkàbà lọ sókè láti fix ẹ̀, ibẹ̀ ló ti ṣubú, ó wá dá lẹ́sẹ̀. Ọmọ Bayewumi claim pé Bayewumi rán ìyàwó ẹ̀ tuntun lọ sọ́dọ̀ Ayinla Omowura pé òun wà lọ́spítù, pé Ayinla ò fún ní kọ́bọ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ mo bá nephew Ayinla Omowura kan náà mo interview ẹ̀, ìyẹn sọ pé ẹ̀gbọ́n ló fún ní owó tó fi treat rẹ̀. But he didn't for 1 month or 2 months kò lè kúrò nílé. But ìjọ́ tó wá kúrò nílé pé kò ń lọ mutí ní bá palọ̀ Síkírátù Adékọ́lá. Mi rántí eré àyẹ̀mọ́ báyìí, bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ti máa ń lọ mọtí. So ìjọ́ yẹn ó ṣàmú ọ̀pá. Kẹ̀pẹ́sẹ̀ ò tí ó mọ̀pá dání. Gúdà náà dẹ̀ ló máa mú. So ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ìfisílẹ̀ síbẹ̀. Mo interview ìyàwó Ayinla Omowura kan náà, Kẹ́hìndé lórúkọ woman. Ó ní òun máa ń gbálẹ̀ ilẹ̀ onílẹ̀ kan níjọ́ tí Ayinla Omowura kú. Ó ní so by 6 a.m. òun ti ń gbáwájú ta. Ní so òun wá rí bàbá kan, ó ní bàbá yẹn wá bí irú 6 a.m. ó lóun rántí orúkọ ẹ̀, ó ní bẹ̀ẹ̀ tó rántí pé òun ni Ayinla kì tó fi sọ pé bàbá Káyọ̀dé ó ṣáàjìrì bá ti rì láfẹ́ ń wá ló gbé ń pawó. So bàbá yẹn ni so wá béèrè pé aláàjì nǹkan òun sọ pé wọ́n wà lókè. So ìgbà tí máa ń gòkè lọ wá rántí pé Ayinla Omowura bá lọ tí aláàjì bá lọ 3-4 days ó lè má padà wálé kó ń lọ gbowó lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Bí so bóun ṣe dókè ló bá ní kó ń bá òun fi okùn sí ṣòkòtò. Ó ní so olódẹ̀ fún òun lówó ní mint lówó tó fún òun gbà. Ó ní in fact for more than 1 year lẹ́yìn ìgbà tó kú òun ò lè náwó yẹn. Ó ní so òun àti bàbá Káyọ̀dé wọ́n jáde, wọ́n gbé 504 jáde. So ó ní kò pẹ́ sígbà yẹn látẹ́gùn yìí ló bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fẹ́ tó gbé orí bí àpẹẹrẹ ó mẹ́rin pé nǹkan burúkú á ṣẹlẹ̀. Kò pẹ́ sígbà yẹn tó júmọ́ mọ́ díẹ̀. Ó ní ọmọ Ayinla Omowura Kuburat tó máa ń pè ní bàbá Kubure olóbádé. Bàbá ńkọ́ ò ní bàbá jáde. Ó wá jókòó sórí bench. Incidentally ìjọ́ kejì ibi that spot ni wọ́n sin bàbá ẹ̀ sí níjọ́ kejì. Ó ní so bí around 11 or 12 ẹ máa study nǹkan tí mò ń fẹ́ sọ yìí. Okay, before I talk about nǹkan tí woman ẹ sọ ní 11 or 12 láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ yẹn apparently ìgbà tóun àti bàbá Káyọ̀dé lọ síbi tí wọ́n lọ ó wá padà sọ́dọ̀ Àyìnlá Gbéjàpá Ọ̀bà. Ṣe rẹ̀ pé spiritualist ẹ̀ ní ẹ mọ̀ pa ó máa ń kí gan Àyìnlá Gbéjàpá Ọ̀bà òṣogùn ṣe mú ni ọ̀gbàgbà tí ń gbára àdúgbò lọ́wọ́ ewu Mọ́túndé. So spiritually Àyìnlá Gbéjàpá Ọ̀bà gan fún rẹ̀ orin ló máa ń kọ ní Ghana before kí wọ́n tó wá rí ìrànsí pé kó padà sí nǹkan táwọn bàbá ẹ̀ máa ń ṣe kó fi orin sílẹ̀. So but ló máa ń ṣògùn fún Ayinla Omowura. So wọ́n ní láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ ẹ̀ mo interview àwọn ọmọ méjì Àgbéjàpá Ọ̀bà, ọkùnrin kan obìnrin kan. Ọkùnrin yẹn sọ pé òun wà ń bẹ̀ láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ yẹn pé kì í ṣe pé wọ́n sọ fún òun. Ayinla wá sọ́dọ̀ àwọn bí around 10-11. Ó ní bàbá òun bá ṣe àsèjẹ kan lọ́wọ́ ó ló wà lórí iná. Ó ní so ó dẹ̀ wá ó wá sọ fún bàbá òun pé òun fẹ́ délé ìyàwó nǹkan tó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ rẹ̀. Ó ní bí Ayinla Omowura dẹ̀ ṣe lọ tán ó ní bàbá òun dẹ̀ bú sẹ́kún pé Ayinla ti lọ. Ó ló ń yílẹ̀ tó ń sunkún ni. So Ayinla ń jẹun lọ́dọ̀ ìyàwó ẹ̀ yẹn lẹ́nìkan sáré wá pé Bayewumi wà ní bíá pálọ̀ Síkírá. Ó bá fóúnjẹ tó ń jẹ sílẹ̀ bá pe driver yẹn ọmọ Ìbàdàn ni bá pè 504 yẹn náà kó máa lọ sí bíá pálọ̀ Síkírá. So bíá pálọ̀ wà ń bẹ̀ ó ní kó park ó ní kó fi mọ́tò lọ gbé ọlọ́pàá wá. Meanwhile the day before 2 days before láti incident a case of theft of his motorbike
against
the Bayewumi ní bẹ́ẹ̀ Ìbàrà police station. So ó wá kò wọnú bíá pálọ̀ yẹn ẹ mọ̀ pé wọ́n jọ kan máa wà níwájú bíá pálọ̀ láyé ìgbà ó kàn fọwọ́ wọ́ wọ́n jọ yẹn orí Bayewumi àti one of his other band members mo ti gbàgbé orúkọ ẹ̀ tó jọ wà bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ní Bayewumi wá ìyẹn wá fi ọwọ́ ọ̀tún gbé mọ́ọ̀gì gúdà tó mu ó fi ọwọ́ òsì mú ẹsẹ̀ ọ̀pá tó fi ń tẹ̀lẹ̀ ó wá sí ẹnu ọ̀nà Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà wá dì í mú lọ́rùn pé kó bá mú kọ́kọ́rọ́ motorbike o apparently nígbà tí bó ṣe grip yẹn ti tight excuse me Bayewumi wá da ọtí sójú ẹ̀ so bó ṣe wá da ọtí sójú ẹ̀ Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà fi agbádá ẹ̀ nu kíní ẹ̀ ó apparently grip yẹn wà tighter so bóyá yẹn wà inconvenienced ni o àbí in anger ni o so bó ṣe ṣá mọ́ọ̀gì ẹ̀ mọ́ this particular place.
Okay.
So from autopsy tí wọ́n present in the court the court was 0.02 centimeter deep. So bó dẹ̀ ṣe shack up yẹn ó fìdí from evidence tí wọ́n adduce ní court ẹ̀yìn ló bá lọlẹ̀ and he started vomiting ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí bì ẹ má gbàgbé pé mo ló ń jẹun lọ́wọ́ ní ọ̀dọ̀ so wọ́n ṣe Síkírátù Adékọlá ẹ gbà mí o wọ́n ṣàchátà taxi wọ́n kọ́ gbé lọ sí Olúgbadé ìyẹn náà hospital kan ni mo rò pé ìyẹn rí pé kílẹ̀ wá rí fáwọn lọ sí general ló kù sí. Nǹkan tí mo wá fẹ́ sọ yìí tí mo ní woman Kẹ́hìndé lórúkọ mo meet ọmọ ẹ̀ náà mo interview ọmọ yẹn ṣe mo kọ́ first born Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà máa ń kọlà ru ìlà tiẹ̀ so lady yẹn ní ó ní láàánú lójú báyìí náà bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ so she told me pé ẹ má gbàgbé pé mo sọ pé ọmọ Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà Kúbúrẹ́ ó jókòó sórí oníṣòwò bí bàbá kan ṣe sáré dé ni ẹ pé Àyìnlá àti Bayewumi wọ́n jà ó ní the first thing tí Kúbúrẹ́ sọ ni pé ǹjẹ́ Bayewumi ò ti pa bàbá àwọn báyìí kò pẹ́ sígbà yẹn bí taxi kan ṣe dé sí ẹ̀gbẹ́ ilé wọn ni woman yẹn sọ pé òun gbogbo àwọn èèyàn làwọn rush lọ síbẹ̀ òun rí Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà ó wà lẹ́yìn taxi yẹn wọ́n ti bọ́ aṣọ ọrùn ẹ̀ there was a cut on his head ó ìmí òun yìrì tó ìmí apparently nǹkan tèmi wá piece together ni pé bóyá ńgbà tí kán tó gbé lọ sí hospital àwọn èèyàn ní kán gbé lọ sí ilé ògùn ẹ̀ láti salvage because woman yẹn wá ní àwọn èèyàn sọ pé má yìí mi ẹ jẹ́ gbé má lọ sí hospital wọ́n ṣe wá gbé lọ sí hospital and he died at the general hospital so ìjọ́ kejì ni wọ́n wá sí in court when I now became a lawyer I looked at that because mo ní law report yẹn.
A publisher me.
I'm a publisher. I published it as appendix. The lawyer Bayewumi claimed that Àyìnlá wà hypertensive ni pé Bayewumi kọ́ ló pa. And then they were saying that okay, so what happened to that wound? Unfortunately, nígbà tí àwọn investigating police officers when they came they couldn't see the murder weapon. Mo dẹ̀ wá bá ọmọ agbéjàpá ọba sọ̀rọ̀ ó ní àfọ́kù ìgò yẹn ó wà lé àwọn for almost 4 years lẹ́yìn that. So apparently some people came there and picked the murder weapon. So they didn't find any murder weapon. But the court was saying we could see any sharp object lára ǹdíbẹ̀ that could have given Omowura that sharp cut. And they couldn't rebut that evidence. But nǹkan tí mo find very, because I searched for it. There was no appeal.
Okay.
And I feel that was strange.
Was it because of Ayinla Omowura's popularity?
Yes, I think this popularity was also because as at that time, George, if he had given a judgment that was otherwise, fans of Ayinla Omowura would have killed her. They would have killed the judge.
Ayinla Omowura was on top at that.
He was on top. In fact, Emma Nkantan Sheleyin Queen, they burnt so many houses in Abeokuta gbogbo ilé Bayewumi's father they burnt everything. ọmọ Bayewumi ó dẹ̀ dàbí ẹni pé òun ni di ó lé ọkùnrin. Wọ́n á béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ ó wá ní bàbá òun láti Ìbàrà prison ó kọ lẹ́tà sọ pé kò ń wá rí òun bẹ̀tà àyà gbogbo wọn náà sá pamọ́ because they would kill them. Òun ò wá lọ rí man, why would you not go and see your father? And what that boy told me was that even the motorbike, the so-called motorbike, kò sẹ́ni tó fojú rí. Bóyá bàbá ẹ̀ ní information tó fẹ́ fún o, he never went there. And there was a lawyer, ó dùn mí gan, I was going to interview him, mo ti gbàgbé orúkọ wọn báyìí, who was in the prison with Bayewumi and told, he was one of Onabanjo's aides, a lawyer. I don't know orúkọ wọn. It's late now. Mo bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀, I wanted to come and interview him. So he was at the Ìbàrà prisons with Bayewumi became a born-again Christian. In fact, they said he was preaching in the prisons. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ní afínjú ni. Wọ́n ní iron aṣọ prison báyìí iron la pattern right.
Even as a condemned
prisoner. What now happened was Dia, General Dia, when he became the governor, military governor in Ogun State, ó kàn visit Ìbàrà prison ni. Ló bá ní kí controller mú gbogbo orúkọ àwọn orí àwọn ẹlẹ́wọ̀n condemned prisoners looking well fed. But what kind of nonsense is this? Ló bá ní kọ́ the second day kó mú list àwọn condemned prisoners and he ordered that they should be executed. He told me that ìjọ tí I think Adefulu lórúkọ wọn is late now, lawyer. Ìjọ tí wọ́n fẹ́ pa Bayewumi wọ́n ló gbé Bible dání rẹ̀. Wọ́n làwọn ń wò lójú window àwọn ẹ̀mọ́ pé wọ́n lè jáde. Olódẹ̀ ń kọrin lọ gbé Bible ń kọrin lọ sí gallows until he was executed. I'm curious that judgment was not appealed against. Some people have said that it should have been manslaughter and not murder. Because he didn't. But there's also the eggshell principle, which says that you take your victim the way you met him. You met the victim. For instance, if you are walking by a patient just came out from an hospital, tí wọ́n dẹ̀ ti sọ fún pé the patient has 1 week to live. Tó wá dó sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ títì, tí ò wá dé tó wá ní altercation pẹ̀lú ẹ̀, tẹ́ ẹ jà, tó tì tó kú, ó lè sọ fún court pé wọ́n ti sọ pé kò ní pẹ́ kú.
Ìwọ náà ni wọ́n máa.
Ìwọ ni. So I think that line of defense by the counsel Bayewumi, I think it was defective to argue that I thought that they should have stuck to the angle of manslaughter. But at best to say that it was not intentional. And then there was provocation. Ayinla Omowura could be said to have provoked him. By even that he was choked. He could have argued that he was choked and that he didn't have any other thing than to defend himself. And the only weapon in his hand was the beer mug. So that's the way I look at it.
Báwo lẹ ṣe feel nígbà tí bàbá Túndé Kèlání tí wọ́n ṣe version Ayinla Omowura tiwọn, but a lot of things nínú nǹkan tí wọ́n ṣe ó yàtọ̀ sí nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀.
Ẹ̀gbọ́n Túndé Kèlání, what happened was when I wrote an article on Ayinla Omowura, I think in 2017 or so, in the Cable. So it went viral. So Uncle Yomi Layinka, who was my successor as SA media to Ajimobi, was the one who called me and said Tunde Kèlání called him, because apparently once of Mr. Tunde Kèlání, this person used to be media head to Ajimobi, and I wanted more Uncle Yomi Layinka. So Uncle Yomi Layinka called me that Tunde Kelani wanted to get in touch with me. I wanted to phone number. Money is okay. So Ẹ̀gbọ́n Tunde Kelani called me and said that ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń sọ ni pé Ọlọ́run ló ní kí n má tí ṣe film yìí before now. I would have, because when after reading your piece on Ayinla Omowura, you're an authority on him, and I needed to work with you. So he sent me the Kilemanpe script that I should help him touch it, infuse àwọn orin tí mo fi ipò bá àwọn scenes tí wọ́n kọ mu. And then so he did that. And when my book came out, he came to my office to interview me. And then I also went to his house in Abeokuta. Èmi ni mo mú one of the band boys, Ayinla Omowura, tí wọ́n interview. Èmi ni mo mú wá fún wọn. You see, nǹkan táwọn èèyàn confused ni pé I think what Ẹ̀gbọ́n Kelani did in that film was faction, a mixture of fact and fiction.
Okay.
Kì í ṣe direct
Nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀.
nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀. First is that obìnrin kọ́ ló lead sí quarrel tó wà láàrin Ayinla Omowura àti Bayewumi. But you know, in that film, it was a woman. Second, there were many things that were not right were not strictly nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí Ayinla Omowura tí ó wà ní film.
Unfortunately, àwọn young people, tó bá wo movie yẹn, they have it in their head pé that was exactly, well, not them mama passed down.
No, but of course, like this one, like what I wrote in this book, as I said in the preface, it's like a reportorial account, because I was doing the work of a reporter in this book. What people said and what you want, because it was actually a hard task, trying to piece together the life of a man who had passed 40 years before them. Yeah. Many of àwọn tí wọ́n jọ̀rẹ́ memories wọ́n ti lọ. There was a particular man I interviewed, kí ló máa ń pè bàbá yẹn, mo ti gbàgbé orúkọ ẹ̀, memory ẹ̀ ti lọ, and he was one of his closest. In fact, bàbá yẹn á sọ pé kakọ́ lọ ra anything tó ń bá mọ anything òun àrántí.
Ṣé kò wà ní kò ní get worse.
So there were so many gaps, but my own account is more, because I wasn't doing a hagiography here. Ẹ rí pé àwọn nǹkan tó wà negative against Ayinla Omowura pọ̀ nínú ìwé ju èyí tó positive.
Àwọn èèyàn kì í fẹ́ kí a lọ sórí the weaknesses of our artists.
No, which is not fair.
Fẹ́ ká máa dúró lórí positives.
No, because Ẹ̀gbọ́n Fẹ́mi Pópóọlá, the broadcaster,
yes.
We were at Igbóọrà recently, and he was saying that, look, in spite of the weaknesses of Ayinla Omowura, this book was saying that this man towered far higher than his weaknesses. Ayinla Omowura was such a man who, no matter how drunk he was, the moment he was beside the microphone,
fire law.
Baba Adewale Oniluola told me pé àǹjọ̀nú ni Ayinla Omowura. Pé tó bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí kọrin báyìí, of course, that was somebody who didn't go through the four walls of a school, and to imagine him reproduce ẹ wo orin ẹ̀ yìí, báwo ló ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ orin yìí o, lówùrọ̀ kùtùkùtù bọ́mọkùnrin bá jí bí nǹkan ò lè kò yá lé nǹkan torí ọjọ́ alẹ́ àìdúró níjòyè ẹni bá ṣiṣẹ́ jàre òṣì majority ṣé ẹ ń gbọ́. Ìyá rẹ̀ lè lówó lọ́wọ́, bàbá lẹ́ṣin lè kàn, gbogbo ojúlé wọn òfò ló máa mú. Ẹ wo ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká rówó ká fi mìlìkì. You could see he was saying that, look, it's not your àwúre pé tó bá jí láàárọ̀, tí ọmọkùnrin bá jí láàárọ̀ tí ò sí nǹkan tó ń le kó náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa lé nǹkan, that you cannot remain idle. You see, the philosophy, I studied philosophy, and I tell you that the Aristotles, the Platos of this world, àwọn philosophies weren't greater than what this man was philosophizing through songs. And that's what I do in my column, to show the whole world that look, àwọn African musicians yìí, àwọn nuggets tí wọ́n produce, they are top notch.
Dáàdì mi máa ń aláwọ̀dà ni wọ́n gan, so wọ́n máa ń fi kọrin Ayinla Omowura kan, wọ́n get it dáadáa later mo realize, but tó máa ti kọrin gbọ́ bí ẹ bá ṣe jẹ́ ẹ má ṣe sùn tó máa ti kọrin yẹn Ayinla ó kọ nǹkan tó jọ.
Mo fẹ́ rántí nísìnyí ó dẹ̀ pé nínú tó bá jí kó má ṣe dákan má ṣe sùn bí o bá jí
dákan má ṣe sùn
dákan má ṣe sùn bí o bá jí o.
bàbá mi change ẹ̀ sí bí o bá ṣe jẹ́ ẹ má ṣe sùn bí o bá ṣe jẹ́ ẹ má ṣe sùn.
You know, he was always advocating hard work. He was advocating, you know, that people should move towards culture. Was advocating and then he was a musician tó jẹ́ pé all the dysfunctional aspects of his family, he was always projecting them in songs. He was talking about women tó ń bleach àwọn tó ń bóra. He was the first one to start attacking them. He was the first person to talk about ọmọ panṣágà rántí ọjọ́ ọ̀la o, and then talked about his own son Akeem, you know, who was a laggard. And look, ìyá rẹ̀ á roko, ìyá lè roko rodò kí bàbá ó roko, you know, predicting that someday, and it's still happening now. Àwọn tí bàbá wọn bóyá wọ́n lówó, wọ́n lẹ́ṣin lẹ́ẹ̀kan, tí wọ́n rely on, like his son Akeem relied heavily on his father's wealth, and they couldn't. And then the one major lesson tí àwọn èèyàn láti learn from the life from the tragedy, of Ayinla Omowura ni pé first, ṣe mọ̀ pé ó máa ń sọ pé epo ni mo rù ó níyànjú má bà tèmi jẹ́, òun náà máa ń kọ́. He didn't know the value of what he carried. He carried an awesome talent. Baba Adewale sọ fún mi pé, àwọn sọ fún mi pé Ayinla Omowura ó ní brand new Benz méjì ló ní tí EMI rà fún, ó ní Volvo, ó ní all brand wa. Kéèyàn gbé ẹṣin, kéèyàn gbé irin sórí kó wá máa fi ẹsẹ̀ dẹ ihò rẹ̀. He died over a motorcycle. Fa Baba Adewale sọ fún mi pé àwọn sọ fún at some point pé ẹgbẹ́ gan ló ra motorcycle yìí 500 naira àbí nǹkan náà láwọn ra motorcycle. So it didn't even belong to you.
Owó ẹgbẹ́ gan.
Àṣẹ owó ẹgbẹ́ ni wọ́n fi rà.
Bàbá dẹ̀ claim máa yẹn pé right tiẹ̀ àwọn ní right gan jùlọ nítorí pé band.
Another story nìyẹn. Baba told me, and which I also affirm, Baba ló ní band gan. Ṣé mi pé àpàlà kì í ṣe ìlú gan ló ń jẹ́ àpàlà. Baba ẹ mọ̀ kọ́ ọmọ Ìdèrè ni bàbá, lọ́yọ̀ state.
Okay.
He actually came from Ìdèrè. Ó la Ayinla Omowura fi máa ń pè wọ́n máa tọ̀rìn wá. He migrated from Ìdèrè, but family wọn àwọn onílù ni wọ́n. So bàbá ní àwọn tí láwọn sànmọ̀rí tó ń follow àwọn gbà ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n máa ń sọ fún ẹ pé lọ gẹ̀ẹ́tì olórin tí ó máa kọrin fún ẹ, tí ó máa lùlù fún, pé ìyẹn gan la lè jẹ́ kí vitality brand yẹn kó wà stronger. Wọ́n láwọn á bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wá bọ́ọ̀ náà pé wọ́n ní bọ́ọ̀ yẹn kan wà láwọn wá àwọn ṣẹjọ́ táwọn ṣáàrì pé ó ń ṣe légbè lẹ́yìn olórin kan ni pé kí á dá tiwálẹ̀ tiwa. Wọ́n ní first engagement táwọn kọ́kọ́ lọ ní Ìgbógìlà níbẹ̀, wọ́n pe àwọn fún bóyá òkú àbí nǹkan kan, àwọn débẹ̀ ní ẹni wọn àbáwọn ṣe débẹ̀ náà ni àtàná làwọn ti ṣe nǹkan táwọn wá ṣe àtàwọn fẹ́ ṣe. Wọ́n láwọn á pé ìwé láti fẹ́ rówó tá a fi wọ mọ́tò padà sí Abẹ́òkúta. Àwọn bá ní kó jẹ́ káwọn lọ sọ àwọn ẹlẹ́ran ní sáwọn sọ kọ̀ǹgọ́ sílùú báyìí, táyìnlá bá jó lọ báyìí tó jó lọ báyìí nọ́mbà làwọn ọmọ ẹlẹ́ran bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fún olówó táwọn pa níjọ́ yẹn. And then and to be fair to Ayinla Omowura, ó máa acknowledge pé Baba Adewale onílù ọ̀la ọ̀gá òun. But ṣe mọ̀ pé wọ́n túká bóyá 1974 àbí 1975 wọ́n jà.
Ọdún kan ṣe tù wá.
Ìgbà tí mo béèrè lọ́wọ́ Baba Adewale pé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀, wọ́n nígbà tán sọ ọmọọṣẹ́ di wọ́n sọ ọ̀gá dọmọṣẹ́ ní bàbá fi Ayinla Omowura lẹ̀, ó wá lọ lùlù fún olórin kan náà tó tún wá jẹ́ family Ayinla Omowura, yẹn gan ló dùn jù. But at some point àwọn méjèèjì discover pé wọ́n ní ìdí ara wọn. But
àwọn méjèèjì team ni wọ́n tó yẹ
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
pé látòde ọ̀run
látòde ọ̀run and then one day baba in fact ìjọ mo lọ interview wọn sunkún gan and I was sorry for him when I got there. Èèyàn lè máa gbé ibi tí bàbá yìí ń gbé. To imagine after being lead drummer to a major musician in Nigeria ibi tí bàbá yìí ń gbé rẹ̀.
Ara àwọn nǹkan tí èmi ń try láti advocate fún ni inú mi nítorí sọ̀rọ̀ débẹ̀. Ìbí náà délé bàbá ńgbà tán wà láyé. Mo sì ní fídíò interview tí mo ṣe fún wọn. Ibẹ̀ yẹn kágbàgbé age wọn èèyàn sorry fún wọn.
Èèyàn sorry.
Gbogbo royalty tó wá láti ọ̀dọ̀ EMI ṣe báwọn èèyàn kan lọ́jọ́ ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni
kò ń ṣe ẹnìkan.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni
àwọn èèyàn máa sọ pé lágbájá ó hate ẹnìkan ó hate ẹnìkejì. No, àwọn tí wọ́n jọ ṣe ọbẹ̀ yẹn yálà wọ́n jọ mọ̀ ṣe.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni ó yẹ kán jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ni they should be part and parcel of that royalty.
No matter how small kò ṣe pé kéèyàn kan dàyà kọ́.
Kò dáa rárá.
kò sọ pé èmi ni lágbájá èmi ni mo ní band káwọn tó wá ní tí wọ́n jọ contribute. Ó ṣe gìtá lásán lẹ́ni ẹ̀ ta ká nílùú òyìnbó ni.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni a máa gba royalty fún nǹkan tó ń ṣe. Kò dáa rárá.
Àwọn èèyàn sọ pé
ó popularize wọn gan.
àti sọ́jú àrísọ oríwá ò pé eight lágbájá.
No, you be sorry for that man. But he was lucky later àwọn èèyàn wá gather together before he died. But níjọ́ tí mo rí wọn wọ́n sunkún ni wọ́n wa omi pé ẹ̀bùn ṣébi tí gbajúmọ̀ yẹ kó máa gbére. Bẹ́ǹchì báyìí ni bàbá ló wà ní sitting room bàbá. The other corner báyìí ìyàwó wọn gbé ọbẹ̀ àwọn ìsásùn nínú sitting room níbi tí wọ́n sùn. It was a rich but bàbá from my reading of him that day níjọ́ tí mo interview bàbá yóò forgive Ayinla Omowura.
Yes,
for forgive her 40 years after.
wọ́n sì ní
grouse against him.
Then mo ti ń wrap up báyìí tó mo ti gba time mi gan. Àwọn ọmọ Ayinla Omowura wọ́n fẹ́ gbógun kan dìde lórí ìwé.
Wọ́n fẹ́ gbógun and nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé gbà tí ìwé yẹn jáde I mean of course mo interview wọn bóyá wọn ò believe pé it was going to be such a success and so when the book came out they met me pé kémi á fáwọn royalty and I said the concept of royalty is copyright. Àròsọ lèmi kọ sínú ìwé bàbá yín ò ní impute síbẹ̀ unlike ẹ̀gbọ́n Túndé Kèlání who used the songs of Ayinla Omowura èmi jókòó mo kọ àròsọ ni and this thing was not wholly positive about your father but wọ́n lọ sọ́dọ̀ Ebenezer Obey spoke with me and said they came to him and they sọ fún mi pé in fact kábíyèsí Aláké of Ẹ̀gbálà wọ́n try gan. Because when I first met him, nǹkan sọ ni ọmọ bo ni ẹ mọ lọ máa Àkúrẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n wa l'Àyìnlá Omowura kí ni link ẹ tó fi kọrú ìwé àṣà he liked me in fact he bought 100 copies of the book. So later wọ́n wá pè mí àwọn ọmọ Àyìnlá wa wọ́n ṣàwá pè meeting pé ká pàdé I mean okay of course I said the same thing pé tí wọ́n bá sọ pé wọ́n fẹ́ prove pé copyright wọ́n wà ńbẹ̀ they can go to court so that court bá wa determine whether their father had a copyright pé but tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ ká fi ṣe egbò ilé àbí báwọn náà ṣe máa ń pè then mi ò ṣáà launch ìwé ká fi launch sí another anniversary Ayinla Omowura in which case àwa ṣe launch ẹ̀ bàbá pa 100 naira a lè decide pé bóyá kémi mú 40 kẹ́yìn mú iye báyìí but so bàbá Aláké wa sọ nǹkan pé bàbá yín àwa mọ̀ ọmọ yẹn ó intellectualize bàbá yín ni o and he polished your father is somebody that you should be tó yẹ kẹ́ máa gbé gẹ̀gẹ̀gẹ̀ kì í ṣe ẹni tó yẹ kẹ́ denigrate. I said okay fine so pé next year a ṣe launch ìwé gba tí time dẹ̀ dé mọ́ ni tàbá fẹ́ ṣe àgbà hall a contribute ni now since tó yẹ bá jọ fẹ́ ṣe a jọ contribute àmúyọ kẹ́mi mẹ́pọ̀ so when they were not forthcoming èmi go dey like idea pé wọ́n launch ìwé so that was how but I mean that was what happened.
Ẹ ṣé gan ni sir mo tábà tún ní ká máa sọ lọ for the next 1 hour àti orí nǹkan sọ but fún ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá ṣì ní interest nínú ìwé àwọn ń ta ibi náà ń ta ọ ibi ò ní copy máa wà rà lọ́dọ̀ yìí actually but mo ṣì ní few copies ṣá táwọn èèyàn lè rà hard copy wà paperback náà wà Festus Adedayo Ayinla Omowura Life and Times of an Apala Legend ní tèmi èmi I'll keep the struggle on ó lè má yield nǹkan sìn but at least ó máa wà lákọọ́lẹ̀ wípé mo sọ ó dẹ̀ lè change lórí àwọn tó wà ń bẹ̀ sí wípé gbogbo nǹkan tá a bá jọ ń ṣe tó jẹ́ orin intellectual property.
It should be a collective.
It should be a collective. A lè má gba nǹkan kan náà tọ́gà bá mú 90%.
ẹ jẹ́ káwọn náà mú 10.
kàn tiẹ̀ mú 10 kàn pín 10 wọ́n á mọ̀ pé nǹkan kan wà then later a máa improve kò ṣe pé winner takes all.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni kò dá
kò yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ because most of àwọn tó bá àwọn òṣèré wa ṣeré wọ́n kú sínú poverty wọ́n ń tọrọ owó fún wọn tí ò dẹ̀ yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ I hate anybody then humans ni wọ́n gbogbo àwọn agbádùn orin wọn èèyàn ni wọ́n èèyàn ni mí èèyàn ni bàbá tó bí mi but kò sí adama kò síbi kan sí wọn lórí weakness so tá a bá ń study wọn tá à ń sọ pé wọ́n dáa ó yẹ ká máa wo kíni weaknesses wọn náà ká lè kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ láti bẹ̀. ẹ ṣé gan ni ṣé doctor ni kí n lọ àbí barrister.
ẹ lè lo kọ́lẹ́tì.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.